Guys, happy Tuesday. We're going live. They're starting to pop in a little bit, and we're going to be in the kitchen today. Last week we were in my office doing meal planning, and today we are, we are right here in the kitchen, and we're going to make, was that a bird?
That was Marley.
Marley's with us, my German Shepherd. She went, but I guess that was her hello. So yeah, they're starting to tune in now. And my sister is back. Remember last week we had some technical problems? Because I was by myself. But she's back. And so we are going to get started just shortly with the it's just a really small, simple cooking demo. It's more like a mixing demo because there's no cooking involved. It's one of my favorite simple oil-free salad dressings. Some of you may already be familiar with it, but we're going to talk about ways you can tweak it to your taste preferences. And even though it's a salad dressing, I'm going to suggest some other things that you could do with it. Let's see who we've got on here. Bonnie Inman, hi. She says hello. I remember seeing your name a good bit, Bonnie. And there's Norma. Norma, I see you all the time from Arizona. Peggy, I'm so glad you're here too, girl. Thank you for joining us. Rachel from New Jersey. Beth Sharon from Tulsa. You guys are really popping on. Hi. Yeah, good deal. I'm so glad everybody's tuning in. I've got so many things I want to talk to you about, and I have some news things that I want to tell you. And then there's Darby from North Carolina. I want some input from you guys too of some things we're going to be discussing coming up next week. Sherry from Canada, Alberta, Canada. Hi, girl. And Savannah, Georgia, there's Debbie Carroll. Debbie, you won something. Oh, you won the mug. Debbie's one that the mug broke on the way shipping, and we got her a new one, thank goodness. Mary, hi, from Wisconsin. Good to see you guys. There's Lynn from Pennsylvania. You're tuning in from all over the place. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you for tuning in, and we're back to 1 o'clock. We really didn't have a discussion yet about, we've done it at 1 in the afternoon, we've done it at 7 in the evening, so we're going to have to do some more discussion. I think we're going to alternate some. So let me marinate on that for just a few minutes, and then we'll figure out what time next week we're going to do a live. So, all right, got lots of things to tell you. How about I start off by telling you what we're going to give away today? Because I know that's what you get so excited about. That's what I get so excited about. So we have three things that we're going to give away today. The first one is, you guys know this book, Dr. Greger's How Not to Die book. This thing is so thick. Yes, it does have recipes, doesn't it? Yeah, it has some recipes in the back. No, it doesn't. Hold on. I couldn't even remember. He's got the cookbook that goes along with it now. This one doesn't have recipes. This one's just the science, but it is everything under the sun. If you don't have this book, it's like an encyclopedia for plant-based nutrition. So we're going to give it away to one lucky winner. We will choose that. And another thing we're going to give away today is this box. We've given these away before. I love them. I use these. Just magnetic clips for you to close up your bags that you put in the refrigerator with that broccoli slaw, or I keep one on the bag of my hash browns in the freezer, just so I don't have to put it in a Ziploc or anything. I just clip it really good. So this has 5 magnetic clips. You stick them on the refrigerator. You've got them when you need them. So we're going to give these away. Oh, and we're going to give away a mug. I'm coming back. Hold on. All right, so we're giving away another mug with the EatPlant-Based logo on it, and it's got it on both sides, and so we'll give another one of these away. When I send these out, I include a recipe for my chocolate mug cake that you can make in your microwave. It takes 1 minute and 5 seconds in my microwave. Yours might be a little different, but it wouldn't be too much different. But just a few ingredients, everything. You can make a single serving of a chocolate cake in your mug that I send you, and it's delicious. So, yeah, we are going to give away a mug again today. So, all right, should we start off by giving a mug to somebody? Maybe we should. What do you think? Is there anything I need to know on here already that you're seeing?
Yeah, everybody's checking in. You got people from everywhere.
Good deal. Got people from every. Hey, so my sister is here again. Brenda Michelle. I call her Shelbo, guys, and I cannot help it. That's her family name. All of these years, our grandfather gave it to her when she was a baby. So I still call her Shelbo. When I say Shelbo, this is who I'm talking about. Do you care to come say hey? She loves it when I do this. I put her on the spot. But I don't want you guys to think I'm just talking to myself because there's somebody here with me. It's my sister. This is Shelby. So if you guys haven't already, stay here for a second. Okay. She wrote an article that we published last week about her autoimmune disease. It's autoimmune inflammatory rheumatoid arthritis. How long ago were you diagnosed with it? A year?
Last year. Last September.
So it's gotten a lot of great feedback. Some of you guys, I didn't realize how many people were dealing with autoimmune, with rheumatoid arthritis in particular, so many things. So we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. About a plan that we have and an email that I got from somebody that I want to share with you. And we're tag teaming this because you know so much about it with meal preps and all that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about that in a minute. You what?
The practical aspect.
Yeah, practical aspects. You got that. Yeah. Oh, and Harper, they still don't have Harper, the new baby, grandbaby, 8th grandbaby for her. She shares her grandbabies with me because I don't have any. I have one daughter and no grandbabies, and she's got 8 grandbabies. So
it takes both of us. We have to tag team it with 8. Co-grandparenting.
Co-grandparenting. Because one of her grandbabies lives next door to us. So we are so blessed to have them next door. And she's an itty bitty baby named Seiko. She's 6 months old now.
Yeah, she is.
But now Harper, we shared last week. Harper, her newest grandbaby, 3 weeks old?
Is she?
I don't know.
Probably about 3 weeks old. It's been a long 3 weeks.
No joke. She has been in South Carolina because Harper was born with
she has SVT. It's a heart condition, and so they're trying to regulate her medications, and it's just a slow process, and she's not quite there yet, but she's doing so well, and she's at home with her mom and daddy, and they're able to do the medicine and try to keep her reverted, when she's having episodes and stuff. So it's going much better. Thank you guys for your prayers. Really appreciate it. Keep them coming.
Please keep Harper in your prayers and her family as they figure out her medications. So we're going to talk more just shortly. Thank you. And I've got Sister's phone because I can see your comments on her phone. Okay, guys. Leslie. There's Leslie. Autoimmune disease is on the rise. We all probably know someone with an autoimmune disorder. You're right. And my sister has been able to control her symptoms. If you go to, I think I included a link. She's going to put up a link to her story that went up last week because she has been able to control her symptoms. Are you off of all of your medicines?
No medication. I haven't been on medications by month 4, I was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So she was able by month 4 to come off of all of her medications for RA. So we're not saying that's going to be the case for everybody, but we're sharing her experience because it is important. There are so many people dealing with it, and Leslie is right. And Leslie's had her own. Leslie too. Leslie says, me too, no meds. And I know Leslie's had some issues she shared with me recently. So, yay, Beth says, off of all of her meds. Yeah, we're celebrating, guys. We know where the healing comes from, plants and medicine and Jesus. So we thank you guys for all the support. It's important that that's one thing we're going to do is rally around each other very soon. But before we get on that, I want to give one thing away. Let's see, what do we give away? Let's start off with the box clips. How about that? I'm going to give away the box clips to, let's see, Oh, Jody says that's fantastic. Oh, the article, she read it. Oh, and Jody, we're going to talk about Jody. That's our Jody that we've been talking to. Kill him. Okay. Yes. We're going to talk about you in a minute, Jody, as soon as you're right, Sharon. Praise God for sure. Sharon Hopkins. Thank you guys for all the support. Let's see. Peggy Hughes. Oh, Peggy loved your article, Shelbo, and thankful for your sister. Okay. Peggy, do you want some box clips? I mean, I don't know why they're in a box, and it makes me want to call them box clips, but they're bag clips. Peggy Hughes, would you like for me to mail you these bag clips? Oh my goodness. Magnetic bag clips. If you want them, say I want them, and then PM me your address, and we will put them in the mail to you. Pan Adams last week won the soups, and she sent a picture. She actually posted it online. You guys remember, this is one thing I want to talk to you about before we do that. We're going to do the salad dressing in a minute, but it really will only take a couple of minutes to do it, so I'm going to talk to you. So these soups are from Tim and Heather Kaufman. Tim, they're with Fat Man Rants. He has a new book coming out called Escape. There's I'm trying to remember what it says. Breaking free from, what are you laughing about?
Aya's on here.
Oh, Aya! That's Shilpa's daughter, Aya. She's Harper's mom. Harper's mom is on here, guys. Hey, Aya, I'm glad you're tuning in. She's in Greenville, South Carolina. I almost said Simpsonville, but it's Greenville. All right, so the soups are from Tim and Heather Kaufman, and Pan Adams won them last week, and she put up a picture, and I told you sad news that's no longer a problem. The sad news when we gave these away last week was that they had decided they weren't going to have these soups anymore. And what's so great about them is you add 8 cups of water and cook them, and then you've got dinner. I mean, really, it is that easy, and they are delicious. But after the live, I can't say that it was because of the live. I like to think it's because of the live. Tim and Heather, are you guys on here? If you are, tell us that you're on here, because I'm about to talk about you for a minute or two. Not just about the soups, but yeah, so they said they weren't going to be providing them anymore, and they're so reasonable. 1 pack of them makes a half a gallon of soup, and you get 4 at a time, so that's a lot of meals, and it's $39 with tax and shipping and everything included, so it's crazy. And so they had said they weren't going to do it, but they messaged me, they emailed me the next day after, they emailed me last Wednesday, I think it was, and said they had reconsidered. They are closing their restaurant in Buffalo, New York, Flourish. It's been open for a number of years, and they are closing it, and they had originally thought they wouldn't offer the soups anymore because the soups were coming through the restaurant, but now they're figuring something else out, and they're gonna keep offering the soups. So we're gonna include a link. If you don't care, Shabba, would you put that link in there? I'm gonna include a link if you want them. I highly recommend them. They are delicious. And Pan Adams won soups last week, and you can order your own. We're putting up the link, but they've got smoky split pea soup, spicy fiesta soup, garden lentil soup, and I ate the curry. And I'm going to start eating these now. I saved them this week, even though I wanted to cook another batch, but I saved them because I wanted to have props to show you. I'm done. Well, actually, I'm going to order some too myself, so I'll have some that I can keep on hand. But these things only have basic ingredients. Like this garden lentil soup. It has lentils, brown rice, dried vegetables, spices, sea salt. That's all that's in it. If you want to add, Tim says, sweet potatoes or something, then you can. But these soups are delicious, and they are still going to be available. Yay. So that's one thing. If you don't know who Tim and Heather are, I consider them my buddies. I want to show you. This is Tim of Fat Man Rants, Tim Kaufman. This was him when he weighed 400 pounds, and this is him now. Amazing health transformation. And so we're going to talk about him a little bit more today, and Heather, his wife Heather, who is a precious soul. But when I'm talking about Tim and Heather, this is Tim. Now, another thing that Tim and Heather have told me is that they want to give you something else. And we're going to give it away next week, but I'm going to tell you what it is. They both have books. Tim has a book. It's called Fat Man's Favorites. It's 80 recipes, very simple recipes. 80 fast and easy whole food plant-based recipes with no oil. He says my recipes are about as simple as you can get with as few ingredients as possible. Life's too amazing to spend the day in the kitchen. I'm writing these specifically to help people who help people have easy recipes as they transition to a healthy plant-based lifestyle. So really, really simple. He's given away a copy of his book. He's calling it a bundle because he's given his book away as well as Heather's book, which is a devotional. And she says in this 30-day devotional journal are some of the reminders from my personal life and a corresponding Bible verse, along with a few quick entries for you to make along your journey through the month. She said every day we're given reminders that things are going to be all right, but most of the time we're too busy and life is too crazy to notice them. And when I'm quiet and purposefully looking, I can see these little reminders all around me in my daily life. And she says sometimes it's a gentle reminder that makes me grin. Other times it's a reminder that stops me in my tracks and has me overcome with emotions. And she shares them in this 30-day devotion with the Bible verses that go along with it. So Tim and Heather are giving away a bundle with both of these books. Next week, we will be giving that away to one lucky winner. And if you want to order them, we have a link for that too. Shelby's going to put up a link for that. You can order them. I think you get both books for like $25. It's crazy that you can get 2 paperback books for that much. But that's the thing that they are offering. So, all right, we're going to do the demo real quick. What are you going to say?
You need to tell Miss Johnson hello, because your home ec
Miss
teacher's on here.
Johnson! Miss Johnson from high school is on here. Hi, Miss Johnson. My sister, you know her as Michelle. She just told me you're on here. I am so glad you're tuning in. How awesome is that, guys? She was a home ec teacher in high school. That's great. Okay, so we're getting ready to make this really easy salad. And you know what? I want to tell you one more thing, guys, before I do. Because last week when I was flubbing up all by myself, I mentioned something, and then when I went back and read y'all's comments, I realized we need to touch on this for just a minute. Last week, I was talking about meal planning. And it was, if you didn't see that, there's a replay. You can go back and watch the meal planner. But I don't remember at what point, but at some point I mentioned bulgur. And I couldn't see your comments coming up. But when I went back and read your comments, you guys, a lot of you don't know what bulgur is. And so there was lots of questions about what is that. So I just want to take 2 minutes and show you what bulgur is, because you really need to know. It is a grain. You can buy it. This is Bob's Red Meal, but there's all kinds of different brands of it. You can even get it in bulk, probably at Whole Foods or Earth Fare, somewhere like that. I order it from Amazon. Our local, it's not difficult to find. It used to be, but it's not anymore. We have a little, well, it's not little, but we have a local grocery store chain here in the Carolinas called Ingles. They carry Bob's Red Meal, and any place, grocery store that carries Bob's Red Meal will have it. And like I said, it doesn't have to be this name brand. But I want to show you what it looks like. It is a grain. It is a wheat grain. So if you are gluten-free, this is not going to be for you. This is a wheat grain. But bulgur cooks. This is what it looks like. I want to show you when it comes out of the package. You see how pebbly, it looks like pebbles. But it's a grain, and it cooks just like rice. You can make it on your stovetop. You can make it in the microwave. If you're going to make big batches, I put it in my rice, my steamer. You can even make it in your Instant Pot if you want to. It just takes a few minutes. I think in the microwave it takes 8 minutes to make it. But I'm going to tell you what I love about bulgur. Bulgur doesn't have it has a little bit of a nutty taste to it when you make it, but it doesn't have a tremendous amount of flavor. What makes it special is its texture, because after you cook bulgur, it has a ground beef texture. So anything that you would have normally put ground beef in before going plant-based, you can use bulgur in, whether it's tacos, nachos, lasagna, spaghetti, chili. I have so many recipes. If you don't care, would you put that in? I have an article on the website for bulgur. It tells you all about it. I'm going to show you what it looks like cooked. It tells you all about it, how to cook it, and recipes. I've got my lasagna in there. I've got chili for black bean burgers, and because chili, I've got a crock pot chili which has beans in it, and you would eat that with cornbread and stuff. But even just last week, I think somebody said, do you have a recipe for chili? They were going to some kind of a function and they needed it for black bean burgers and carrot dogs and things like that. I said, yeah, we got a chili recipe that you would just put on burgers. And it's included in that article. But this is what it looks like when it's done. It is just very crumbly. You see how that is? So it's got a crumbly ground beef texture. And the great thing is, whatever spices you use with it, that's what it's going to taste like. Like if you put taco seasoning, it's going to taste like ground beef with taco seasoning. If you use it in spaghetti, it's going to taste like marinara because it's going to soak up the flavors of your marinara. So this is one thing that I probably was plant-based for a year or two before I learned about bulgur, but now it's a staple in my house. And when I'm making it in chili, like in my crock pot, I don't even cook it ahead of time. I just put it dry into the crock pot and it cooks with everything else soaking up the flavors. But oftentimes, if I want to save a step and just be ahead of the game, I will make a batch or two of bulgur and freeze it. And then when I'm making tacos, I can just put it in there with the beans and the taco seasoning and skip a step. It doesn't need to cook or anything. You can just have it pre-cooked and ready to go. All right, I'm going to see if I'm missing anything with you guys. Norma. Oh, you bought the bulgur from Sprouts. Good to know. See, we don't have a Sprouts around here, but that is, you haven't used it yet? Well, Shelbo's putting up an article, and get on there because I've got maybe 5 or 6 at least bulgur recipes on there that you really need to try because it is so, Leslie says bulgur burgers. I put bulgur sometimes in lentil burgers. That's awesome. And Jody's saying she saw that it was often used in my recipe, so she bought some, but she hasn't heard of it before. I'm glad you're discussing it. I am too. When I got on last week and saw you guys asking what in the world, do you pre-soak it? Louise wants to know if we pre-soak it. I don't. I mean, like if you were going to cook it in something that has a lot of juice liquid with it, you could just put it in there and let it soak and then cook it. But it's so fast. I mean, it truly does cook as fast as rice. So I don't even pre-soak it. You don't have to at all. And Barbara Brennan, how about that, Shelbo? That's her last name. Is enjoyed bulgur in soup. Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I toss it in soup a lot, especially vegetable soup because it's already got the vegetables in there. But in the old days when we made vegetable soup, before we went plant-based, we would throw in ground beef. Well, now you don't need to. You'll get that ground beef texture with the bulgur. So yeah, it's really, really easy to make. Sharon Hopkins says, made your taco meat with bulgur, and it was awesome. Yeah, we use that taco meat for so many things. For nachos, we baked potatoes with that taco meat made with bulgur and beans. I'm glad you guys have already been on there and figuring that out. But I just really wanted to touch on that because when I got on after last week's live, I was like, we need to show them what bulgur is because you really need to be trying out if you, like I said, if you aren't avoiding gluten. You know, okay, one more thing about bulgur. So a lot of my recipes, a good many of them do, we use bulgur, and it never fails. I get so many questions for people who are gluten-free, like in my lasagna or in my taco meat or anything. They say, what can we use? What can they use? Because they're avoiding gluten. Other things that you can put in there rather than bulgur and still do the same recipe would be buckwheat groats. They're gluten-free and they still have that kind of a texture that would be great. That's probably my number one suggestion to substitute for bulgur is buckwheat groats. Another option, you could do brown rice. I've heard people, you know, do an even quinoa, which I love quinoa. It has such a different texture though that they say they love it, so you might try it. If you love quinoa, try it maybe in the taco meat, but it will not have the same texture. It'll be a little bit different, but hey, be open to anything, try it. But those are some options if you are gluten-free to replace the bulgur with. So, but I'm glad we're having this discussion so everybody knows. Oh yeah, there's Sharon. Okay, Sharon is saying, so Sharon Hopkins is saying she has tried quinoa with it, and I've heard a lot of people say that, Sharon. I'm really glad that works. I rented a room. What is that?
On your site.
You rented a room? Was that Jody?
You moved right in.
Oh, you're moving in with it. Come on, girl. Come on. Okay, Peggy is asking about TVP, textured vegetable protein. I put up a new article that I'll start publicizing, I think later, like maybe on Friday, about, it's actually about soy curls, because a lot of people ask about what's the difference between soy curls and TVP, which is, what is that? Textured vegetable protein. I think that's what it stands for. They're different. And I lean towards soy curls more than TVP because soy curls, they're both, okay, the similarities, soy curls are made with, both of them are made with soybeans. The difference is soy curls, they use the whole bean. Every part of it, though it's only one ingredient with soy curls, and it's soybeans. With TVP, they take the soybeans. I had to read up on this because I wasn't even sure how they made TVP. But with that, they cook it, and they remove all the fat from the soybean, and then there's a paste. Oh no. Okay, RoboCop is coming. Hold on.
Got it.
Okay, we'll just push the button on the top.
Okay.
Okay, RoboCop is my vacuum cleaner, and occasionally, she was charging, I forgot about her. Occasionally she starts up, and I hear her, and then she gets so loud in here, so my sister's going to shut her down until we're done. I heard her pop on, I was like, no, we ain't doing this. But, okay, so with TVP, they remove the fat, which, you know, I mean, it makes it less fat, but how much fat is in soybeans, y'all, really? And then there's a paste that is left, and TVP is made with the paste. So, I prefer the whole bean. I like to keep everything, the whole bean as in soy curls. So, I'm not saying don't use TVP. I'm just saying if I had a choice, I would lean more towards soy curls because it's the whole bean, where TVP is the defatted paste after they cook down the soybean, you see? So it's more processed too. So that's my opinion, but if you have TVP in your kitchen, use it up, but then maybe next time buy soy curls. Like I said, I'm not saying don't. It's a good option occasionally, but that's just my personal opinion since you asked.
Peggy wants to know if you could chop the soy curls and get the same result.
If you could chop the soy curls for...
Make them, I guess, grainier?
To make them... Yeah. As a matter of fact, with the soy curls, I have a recipe, and I need to change those photos on that recipe because I've changed my method for cooking with... I make barbecue sandwiches. You know those barbecue sandwiches I bring to our family? Yeah. I take them to... Sometimes our family will get together at my mom's house, and everybody's not plant-based. Actually, there's only a few of us that are plant-based. And so they'll make barbecue, or they'll most of the time order barbecue. They'll go pick up barbecue, and I'll make a crock pot, a vegan barbecue out of soy curls. Well, when I took the photos for that recipe, I left them kind of whole, but over time, I have let them cook in the crock pot with the barbecue sauce, and then I shred them. I shred them into tiny little shreds, just like regular barbecue. And it's really hard. People have to ask if that's the real barbecue or not, because it looks the same. So yes, you can cut it. You can, the soy curls, you can cut it, you can shred it, you can do whatever you want to with it to make it. Because soy curls really don't have much flavor on their own. So you season them, and then chop them into whatever you want to. Throw them into stir fries or sandwiches. If you haven't seen, last week I put up vegan chicken strips. They're garlic and ginger, and they're delicious. They're made with soy curls, and there's lots of information. And like I said, later this week, you can get on my website now and see the newest article. I'm not going to start publicizing it until Friday, but you can get on there. It's about soy curls and 25 recipes you can make with soy curls, and it tells you all about them. All right, so let's make this dressing and then give away some more, okay?
Before we move on,
Okay, you got a
Beth
question?
Sharon is wondering if there's a less expensive source of buckwheat or for buckwheat.
Less expensive.
She said she loves buckwheat, but it's pretty pricey, so she's just wondering if you know of anything that's.
I haven't priced
alternative.
buckwheat lately. Have you? Who was that? Becky?
Beth,
Have you tried ordering it on Amazon? My guess is that what
soy
she tried?
curl. I don't know, but while you're on Amazon, soy curls is also
Cheaper there.
That's where I've been buying.
Yeah.
mine,
I would try Amazon. I would imagine that would probably be cheaper than maybe your local grocery store. And my sister is saying that's the same thing with soy curls, and it's true. Soy curls, I order them online. You can get one bag, and that one bag goes a long way, guys. We eat on one bag for days. Whether we're making sandwiches, like barbecue with it, or in a stir fry, it just has a lot. And you don't even have to make the whole bag at one time if you don't want to. You can make half a bag, but you can order one bag, or you can order like 3. You could probably order more, but I order 3 at a time because it gets the price down. Oh, I'm trying to think. Is it maybe $7 a bag? I'm thinking it's $6, $7 a bag if you order 3 at a time, which is great because I think it's, I don't know, but when you rehydrate those soy curls, they expand, and that's just a lot of soy curls that you could use. I don't know, maybe in 3 or more different recipes. So yeah, it goes a long, long way. But yeah, I would try Amazon for soy curls and for the buckwheat groats. So. All right, so some of you may be familiar. We're going to start on this dressing real quick. Like I said, it's just going to take a minute to make. If you weren't familiar with this, you're going to love me forever, just because you're going to think it came from me, and it didn't. Originally, this recipe came from Dr. Caldwell Esselson's book called Prevent and Reverse Heart Disease. His wife's name is Anne. A lot of you already know this. Some of you don't know. And his daughter's name is Jane. They are a dynamic duo. And so they do recipes all the time. And this is their recipe. And they were gracious enough to let me have it on my website. If you don't care, would you put it up?
Yeah.
It's, I sent you the link.
Okay.
So it's one of my favorites because there are only 3 ingredients in this recipe, and it is very customizable to your taste preferences. So it's called 3-2-1 oil-free salad dressing. The ingredients are balsamic vinegar, Dijon mustard, and maple syrup. That's all that's in it, and it is delicious. And the reason it's called 3-2-1 is because you start with 3 tablespoons of the balsamic vinegar. And so that's the 3 part of it. So you can see where we're going. 3 tablespoons of balsamic, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, and 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. So we're going to start right now. I don't know how much you can see. We're going to start with the 3 tablespoons. Actually, I didn't measure that. I eyeballed it. Do y'all know what eyeball means? You look at it and kind of judge. When you cook for a little while, you kind of eyeball things. And I eyeballed that, and I don't think that was 3 tablespoons. I'm going to add just a little bit more. As you can see, this is, oh, snap. Y'all, I dropped the lid into the bowl. Okay, give me just a second. Hold on. Let's get that out. I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. We got it dripping, but it's okay. So we got balsamic vinegar. All right, so that's the first ingredient. The second ingredient is Dijon mustard. And here we go. All right, so we're going to add the Dijon mustard to it. Can you see that? I think you can. Okay, Dijon mustard. And then we're going to add the maple syrup. And I'm going to scrape it in here. And then you'll whisk it together. How easy is that? We're talking no cooking. Whoa. Without splashing it on. I'm going to have to sit it down for a minute because I got to get busy with it. Because of the mustard, you really got to give it a good whisk. You could do this with your fork, but it would be way messy. Because well, I guess if you used a big enough bowl, it wouldn't be. But I'm using a whisk. And then it's yummy, guys. It is yummy. It's all bubbled up right now, but it is so simple and so yummy. So 3 tablespoons balsamic vinegar, 2 tablespoons Dijon mustard, 1 tablespoon of maple syrup. Okay, I know the questions are going to come even before I look at the phone to see what you're saying. At least this is what I've experienced before. So some people say, okay, what if I don't have balsamic vinegar? You could use other things. This is actually a white balsamic vinegar. It would change the color of it a little bit, but the taste would be just about the same. So it would be a lighter brown color because of the maple syrup and because of the Dijon. But it'd be a lighter color. Taste would still be delicious. We keep red wine vinegar on hand all the time because this is the main ingredient in my mayonnaise. And I make mayonnaise all the time. And so you could even use red wine vinegar. It'll change the taste just a little bit, but not a lot. I don't think you need, if you want to try this, I don't think you need, we're still dripping from the vinegar. I'm sorry, guys. You don't need to run out and get balsamic vinegar. I would suggest at some point you get some balsamic vinegar because it's an ingredient. Oh my gosh. It's an ingredient in a lot of recipes. So at some point, get you some. But if you want to make this today and put it on your salad, we're having a huge, gigantic salad tonight with all kinds of artichoke hearts and baby corn and all kinds of stuff on it. And so I'm going to be using the salad dressing for it. But if you don't have this, then use a different kind of vinegar that you have on hand. You could probably even get away with doing lemon juice on it. It's not going to taste exactly the same, but you could get a gist for what it tastes like. Okay, for the mustard, occasionally I will use like spicy yellow mustard, and then they have a spicy Dijon mustard. You might could switch it up with the mustard. I personally wouldn't just use yellow mustard because that sounds gross to me. I don't know, some of you guys might like it, but I would use some sort of seasoned mustard. I think that it would taste better. And then for maple syrup, you could what could you sub? You could sub out maybe date syrup or agave nectar if you wanted to, something like that. So you can mix this up. If you make it and then you go, oh, it's too tangy because of the vinegar, then add a little bit more maple syrup. If you make it and it's too sweet, add a little more vinegar and maybe even a little bit more mustard. You can just tweak it to your taste preferences because it's just so simple and easy to do. And it doesn't just have to be a salad dressing. I have used it on my it's called a mixed bean salad. I sent you that link too. Okay. She's going to put up the mixed bean salad because this is the dressing I use on that mixed bean salad. And that's actually one we made in the Food for Life classes for the Physicians Committee. And all these years, I've used that on the bean salad. I've even used it on pasta salad before. So lots of options. You could even make it and drizzle it over your wraps, your sandwiches, anything like that. I will tell you, I haven't looked at the recipe on my site in a while until today, and I noticed that I printed it out. I don't know why I did this, but on the recipe I said store leftover dressing in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 7 days. And when I looked at that today, I was like, why? Because, I mean, truly, you don't refrigerate. I don't refrigerate maple syrup or vinegar. The only thing I refrigerate is the mustard and it lasts forever in the refrigerator. So I'm going to stretch that and say, it would last more than 7 days. I would even say 2 weeks. I don't see any reason why it would go bad. Personally, I'd go longer than that, but I don't want anybody to, but just make sure it's in an airtight container. But it should say, just shake it up really well before you're going to use it if it's been in there for a few days. And then it's just absolutely delicious. Leslie says use homemade date syrup. Yes, or date paste. Good deal. I like that. And there's just, tweak it any which way that you want to. I was going to see. Oh, I can go backwards on here. Use stone ground. What is
mustard.
That? Oh, stone ground mustard. Jody, that's a great idea. That's excellent. There's just so many things that you could do with this. Susan Miller, saying she gets her soy curls from local Mexican store. Really? Quite a bit cheaper. And it's called, I might butcher this, Carne Dr. Soya. I probably am not saying that right. We need Sarah here to tell us what that is. But yeah, what a great idea. I never would have even thought to do that. Thank you for that suggestion. All right, so we've gotten that covered. Let's give away one more thing, and then I want to talk to you about something. What should we give away? Okay, so we gave away, what did we give away? Oh, we gave away the box things. Let's give away the mug. Let's give away the mug next. Okay, so this is, and I got something else to talk to y'all about in just a second. So we give a mug away almost every week, and the t-shirts should be here. I think they'll be here by next week. We'll see. The Eat Plant-Based t-shirts, we'll start giving those away as well. So we're going to give away a mug now that we have figured out how to ship these without them breaking. And I will send you a copy of my chocolate mug recipe that you can cook in there that is so delicious. Let's see who we're going to give it to. Are you writing down? Did you write down who won?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
Okay, good deal. Oh, you know what? We should probably choose somebody. Yeah, I'll tell you what, for this one, I'm going to pull out of the jug, guys, because some of you have been really sprinkling and watering a lot. And if you're new and you haven't been here before, when we say sprinkle or water, we mean, my sister turned it around. Normally it shows up backwards. How cool is that? So she turned it. We're not supposed to say this word. Heaven forbid. I don't know why. But we have it on good authority. Not supposed to say this word on a Facebook Live, or else they don't show the video as much. So when we say sprinkle or water, you see that? It's sprinkling water. We mean this word. So some of you have been doing some sprinkling and watering, and I've been watching you. So I've put some names in here, and we're going to pull the winner for the mug. Let's just see. All right. Are you laughing?
They're killing me over here with the mug thing.
What did they say about the mug?
Let's see.
What do y'all say? Y'all got her laughing.
Leslie said she really needed a mug.
Yeah, Leslie needs a mug. Leslie, I was thinking you won a mug, girl. Did you not win a mug? You won something, though, didn't you? Leslie, what did you win last time? I can't remember. Betty Bush. Okay. Betty Bush sprinkled the black bean soup recipe that I put up. That was Chef AJ's. She shared her black bean soup recipe with us. So Betty Bush, are you on here? Have you seen her name pop up? She might not be.
But I will check and see.
Okay. She might not be on here. She might have to watch. I'll message her. I will message her since she sprinkled it. I should be able to get in touch with her. Oh my goodness. What else am I going? Hold on, guys. Give me just a second. I'm just going to move everything around. Okay. So Betty Brush. Oh, I'm sorry. Betty Brush. Betty Brush, you have won the mug. If you want it, and if you're in the States, I will mail it to you. If you are not in the States, still message me and I'll send you something digital. We can only ship in the States, okay? So you'll have like 24 hours if you'll get in touch with me. We will get this out to you. If not, we'll give it away to somebody else. Okay. All right, so we got that one. All right, so let me look real quick to see what we got. Is the mug recipe on the website? Laura wants to know. Laura Miller. Yes, ma'am, it is. Will you put the mug?
I actually just posted it.
She just posted the mug recipe, and you will love it. It used to be like a Sunday ritual with us. In the afternoon, we would make chocolate mug cakes. We need to do that again.
Mm-hmm. It's that weather now.
Yeah, this is the weather for stuff like that. Huh, yummy. Coda, what are you laughing at? Coda's her son. He's on here too. What was he laughing at? He said, ha, ha, ha. Because I'm dropping stuff? I don't know. There is no telling. Okay, Norma, I'm starting to sprinkle with plant-based each week, and I hope they are watching. Oh, you know what, Norma? Your name is in here a bunch. I don't know why it didn't come out, but I wrote your name down. Every time you do it, I don't just put your name in once. Every time that you sprinkle, I put it in here. So I'm thinking your name is probably in there, I don't know how many times, quite a few. So I'm going to leave these in here next week. I've been getting them out and starting over again, but I'm going to leave them. But every time you sprinkle water, I'm going to put it in there. So Norma, you just keep it up. Okay. All right, I know there's some discussion on here. I don't even have. Oh, Marlene Skeever. I know you. You were in my classes at one of the medical facilities. Were you in Asheville? I'm thinking you were in my classes. I may be wrong. Yum, gotta try that. Marlene, were you in my classes at maybe Dr. I want to say you might have been with Dr. Vicky Scott. Were you? I'm thinking you might have been. I may be wrong, but your name sounds so familiar. Okay. All right. So we got this. Let me see what else I was going to tell you. This is the last thing. How are we doing on time? Ooh, I got to hurry. All right. So here's the last thing. Okay. One more thing I want to tell you before I tell you the last thing. You want to help eat plant-based? Because some people have asked me in the past. They say, what can we do to help? Subscribe to the website. I love it when you follow Facebook and all that kind of stuff, but subscribe to the website. I send out emails with new recipes and articles on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. So the people who subscribe are the ones who see everything first, and it helps us because the more folks that are going to the website, the more we grow. It's the more, I mean, I know we talk about this. I've mentioned it just because it comes up every now and again, but the advertisers on the page are the ones that are paying for everything, and they go by page views. So the more you go, the more things we can give away. So subscribe and keep sprinkling and watering. That's what helps. All right. So the last thing is this. I got an email from Jody Killam. And Jody said that she didn't mind if I shared this with you. She sent this to me. We did live on Tuesday. I think she might have sent it on Wednesday. Jody, I sent it straight to my sister because I said, you got to see this. You know who else I sent it to? I sent it to Tim Kaufman because I just felt like, I don't know, I just felt like he and Heather needed to see it because I actually recommended them. So I'm going to read this message to you from Jody. And the reason that I'm doing that is because this is a springboard. We're going to call this a springboard because it's going to lead us into some discussions we're going to have next week. And we'll touch on it. I think we're going to need to touch on this each week for a while from now on. So this is Jody's email, Jody Killam, and she is on here. So she won the China study book maybe a couple of weeks ago. And then she last week sent this. She said, I had a blast, Terri. Thank you for everything. I have so much fun at your lives, and I'm recently returning to plant-based and can really use the commodity. I have an idea I'd like to toss out to you. I know that with cooler weather coming, there are some of us whose bodies play havoc on us. It's during those times that my eating plans get derailed so badly. I have 8 screws, 9 pins, and 4 rods, and a spinal cord stimulator in my back, along with a bulging disc sitting above all of it right now. Most days I do okay, and little by little I get my chores done around here. I try to keep soups in the freezer, but could sure use some different ideas for when I just cannot stand up for very long. Cooler weather is just around the corner here in Montana, and I don't want to flub things up simply because I'm having a tough time. I've been following Dr. Barnard's Reversing Diabetes book and cookbook, and of course, I've got your site now also, which is amazing. But if you had any pointers to throw out at me and others, well, it sure would be appreciated. Thank you again so very much. God bless. And so Jody and I got her message, and I'll just be honest. I don't know, Jody, your message just touched me. I think because, like we were talking about before with my sister, autoimmune disease runs in my family. And my mom suffers. When you were talking about your pain and your health, you pull at my heartstrings, because we've watched my mom suffer. She's been disabled since she was 52, 53, somewhere around in there. I'm 56, but my mom's been disabled 25 years with rheumatoid arthritis, and now she has a host of other medical conditions, and so my heart hurts. And I know the colder weather is coming, and I know it gets more difficult for her and for so many of you guys. So we want to help. Jody and I, after I got her message, started talking back and forth, and I said, what can we do? I actually sent her a picture, because when I got her message, I wrote her name on my arm. I just wrote Jody across it, and I sent her a picture of it, and I said, every time I look at my arm today, I'm going to pray for you when I see your name come across, because I could feel you so much reaching out. And so I want to reach back. We want to reach back. I think what you're saying is important, and we hear you. And so let's do something about it. Jody has come back with so many ideas that we're going to start sharing next week. My sister, I know, has great ideas on meal prepping. One thing we're going to do next week to start it off is I have a recipe. I'll tell you the story behind it next week. It's actually a physician's committee recipe, but I have a story behind it from teaching classes that I want to tell you. It's called Yes You Can Chili. You can make it in 10 to 15 minutes, because Jody was asking for the simple meals that would keep her on track on days she's hurting. And you know what? It doesn't just have to be people who are suffering with chronic pain. This diet does tremendous has tremendous benefits for people who are suffering with inflammation and with autoimmune disease and all that, because a plant-based diet is a naturally anti-inflammatory diet. So when you are eating an anti-inflammatory diet, it's going to help with pain. And so we're going to start talking about some recipes that are really, really simple that you can make. You can put some things in your freezer, or you can just keep a few things in your cupboard and refrigerator and be able to make some meals on those bad days, on those cold days, when your joints are hurting. And my prayer and my true belief is that if you stick with this, you're going to have less and less of those bad days. And like my sister, who was on the medication for RA, and having lots of bad days. One thing she wrote in her article that just touched me, because I had not heard her say that out loud until I read her article, was that she said she got to the point, she was hurting all over, but she said she got to the point where she couldn't even recognize her own signature, because her hands had gotten so bad with inflammation that she was having trouble. So, but now she's doing this. Yeah. And the thing is, guys, I don't talk about it much, but 20 years ago, that's what led me to plant-based nutrition. Rheumatoid arthritis runs in our family, and I was having, I remember when I worked as the office manager for Gibbs. I used to be an office manager, and before I went plant-based, and I would have to order fat pens. You know what I'm talking about? The fat pens that were easier to grip, so that I could work in the office. And I always felt bad about having that expense of the fat pens, but I needed the fat pens. So, I mean, we've been there. And so we want to share healing as much as we can. And I think as a team, between my sister and me and Jody's coming in, and guys, any of you who are dealing with this, send us, comment on here, send us emails. We are going to take a deep dive into recipes. We're going to just try to support each other. We're going to do recipes that are really, really simple. If you would put up, I've got the things that I said to Jody. I'm going to go ahead and, if you don't care, list them. One is we've got an article on lazy vegan recipes. These are things that take less than 30 minutes because I don't want you to have to hang in the balance until next week as we deep dive into it. I sent Jody the, I don't remember how many lazy vegan recipes there were, but there were a lot. I sent her the article that has the lazy vegan recipes so you guys can go ahead and start looking at those. I sent her an article that Jeff Novick, he's a plant-based expert. It's called 10 Simple Recipes. All of his recipes you can make in 10 to 15 minutes. They're really, really easy. And so that was another one because I wanted her to be able to go ahead and be having something to be able to fix this week while you wait until next week. And then I sent her Tim and Heather's group. And I want to suggest to any of you who are dealing with chronic pain and going plant-based and you need the community and the support, stick with us for sure. But Tim has a group. I'm a member of it. I just can't think of the name of it right now. Hang on. I'm going to find it. But hold on. I had it, guys. Anyway, I'm going to tell you in a second. But Tim and Heather have a group it's a Facebook group.
Getting Healthy Together?
Yes, Getting Healthy Together. Is that the whole name of it?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Tim deals with Ehlers-Danlos disease, which is a connective tissue disorder, and he has all kinds of things, so many surgeries, so many rods and pins like Jody was talking about. So he has a group that supports each other. So get on Facebook and look them up and join the group. I want to highly recommend that, as well as keep following here because we're going to be hitting on it. And we're going to start covering some recipes, some meal planning tips. Jody, you keep your thoughts and everything coming. Any of you who have more thoughts, my sister has all kinds because she's been dealing with this for a while. And she has some ideas too. So we want to support each other.
Robin says Miss Plant in Texas has a great ebook out.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
She said check her out.
Okay.
She beat diabetes.
Okay. Miss Plant, I'm hoping you're on here. Her name is Amy. Amy Johnson is her real name. And she and I have been messaging each other this week. I did not realize, I knew she had lost a ton of weight, but I did not know that she had an ebook. But who said that?
Robin.
Robin said Miss Plant has an ebook. So look that one up as well. I'm hoping, Amy, if you're on here, Miss Plant, if you're on here, I was thinking about it. We were talking earlier this week. I would love to share your story. I saw your about page on your website and the photos of you. And so I would love to share that. Why don't you send me another message? And I would like to put that up on our success story page because that was pretty impressive. I didn't focus it. I was looking at your pictures, which were dramatic. You look so much healthier now. So, yeah, if you don't mind, I would love to share that. Bonnie says, I have too many problems to list. Diabetes, arthritis, autoimmune, to name a few. We are trying to switch to plant-based, but really struggle with how to start. Bonnie, go to Eat Plant-Based. There's a tab that says articles. If you click, it'll have a drop-down menu and it says beginner guides. There are probably 10 beginner guides on there on how to get started. Some of them are for me. Some of them are for physicians on how to get started, whether you're doing it by yourself or whether you're doing it with your family. Get on there because we've got grocery shopping list, grocery haul. One has a video of everything I brought in from the grocery store and telling you the different recipes that you can make. So start there. Good memory. Oh, Marlene says, good memory. I met you at Whole Foods first. Okay. And then I went to your classes. Hey, that's awesome. I knew your name was so familiar. So glad you're on here. And you forgot Dave. I'm not sure what that part was. Do you know what that was?
I missed that part.
Okay. All right. So, and yes, Sharon Hopkins is saying Sid Notter's Plan A Diet is a great book to get started. And she's right. And Sid gives us once a month. She said I could do it more, but I don't want to take advantage of her. But she gives us once a month the opportunity to give all of you guys a chance to win her book, The Plan A Diet, which is faith-based, and there's recipes and all kinds of stuff in there. And so we're going to give away, let's give them, will you make me a note? Next week, we'll give away a copy of Sid's book. Sid, if you're on here, next week we're going to hit you up again. We'll give another copy of that away, as well as Tim and Heather's book bundle for their books. So I'm going to look at this, and we're getting ready to get off of here, guys. How are we doing? Oh, we're at an hour. Okay, that's all right.
Real quick.
Oh, I forgot to give away How Not to Die.
Yeah, you got to do that. And Karen, can you kind of tell her what our time schedule? She's asking about when's
next week.
The live schedule. Just explain. Sometimes we're
alternating. So who's that? Carol?
Her name's Karen.
Karen. Karen's asking about the schedule. We don't have one, sister. No, we're trying. We either do it.
She can follow you.
Yes, you can follow me, and we announce it. We'll do it on Tuesdays for sure. As far as the Facebook Lives go, we do it on Tuesdays. And we've been doing it at either 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. How do we feel about this for next week? What do you want to do?
I'm up with whatever.
Let's do it at 7. You want to? Okay, next week, guys, let's do our Tuesday Live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can tell you we will be making chili. They're really, really fast chili. And we're going to be doing a deep dive into easy meals and talking maybe about some of you who are dealing with, difficult days and things that you can do to help you stay on plan during these cold and darker winter months that are coming up. I know Jody was saying how difficult that gets when she's having a bad day, and in the wintertime I know that there are more bad days because of my mom and what she's gone through. So we're going to really dive into easy recipes and suggestions and meal planning for easy things. All right, so so I need to give this book away. Who wants this book? Because I know a lot of you probably already have How Not to Die. Jump on here and tell me. You help me in case there's a delay. Whoever wants this, we're about to mail it to you. Leslie says all you need is a sauce of your choice. She must be responding to somebody. Okay. Oh wait, Laura. What did Laura say? She's been waiting to win this book. Hold on. What did you see a Laura on there? She just moved out of my site. Okay, Laura Wingo Miller. Oh, I've been waiting to win this book. Do you mean Sid's book or the How Not to Die book? Because, she might mean Sid's book. Laura, do you want the How Not to Die book? Do you have it? Either which way, even if you were talking about Sid's book. Laura Miller.
She's waiting for the Plan A book.
Oh, she's waiting for the Plan A book.
She has this one.
Oh, you have this one. Okay, so this one's still up for grabs, guys. Snap! I spilled something. I spilled it all over the place. Let me get a towel. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I Swanee lives just make me, well, I don't know. Oh, okay, sorry. We have part of my dressing in the sink now, part of on my counter and part on the sink. We're going to roll with it. We're just going to roll with it. That's all we're going to do. All right, so who wants this book?
Hold on a minute. I'm counting, and we'll have you pick a number, and then I'll try to get it. My screen is going to be,
okay.
You got a bunch now.
Oh, everybody's wanting it? Okay, we're going to try to do this fair. Shelby's giving me some ideas.
Pick a number between 1 and 8.
She said to pick a number between 1 and 8. I picked 7.
Okay.
She's counting down to see who was number 7. You guys must really be on here wanting this. This is a great book.
Has Sharon Hopkins won anything?
Sharon, if you haven't won anything before, let me look. I have a little list of people who have won before, so we make sure we don't give gifts to the same folks every day. I don't see Sharon Hopkins on here.
Okay. That's your girl.
Sharon, you're my girl. Sharon Hopkins, you just won this book. And if you will private message me your mailing address. And when I made that spiel, honest to goodness, it came this close to getting on this book. It got all over my stinking notes. Look at this. And all over my ink pen. But it missed your book. How lucky are you, girl? So you get the book. Pin me your address. I'll put it in a safe place, and away from the salad dressing. And I think that's everything. So you guys tune in, send me or write. I read your comments when this is all over with and it goes up as a replay. I read your comments and I try to respond. Boy, I look like an old woman with those on. I try to respond. So if you have suggestions for what we were talking about next week, as far as, dealing with the health situations, needing the easy recipes, going through the winter months, anything along those lines, comment or send me a private message. We're going to compile everything from Jody and from Jen to Michelle and all these resources that will help you guys who are going plant-based and trying to stick with it through the winter months that get more difficult. We are a community and I love you guys and we want to be help to you, and we want to encourage you along this so that you can get better, because you can get better. So we're going to do that. If you have suggestions, let us know. Next week, we'll be at 7 p.m. making a really simple chili, talking about all of this, and I will put an event link up. We don't have it up just yet, but by tonight, I'll have an event link up for it so that you can click that you want to come and you'll get the reminders from Facebook, okay? Okay. All right. I think that was everything. Please remember to subscribe to Eat Plant-Based to get all of our latest information and to help support us, because that's how we keep all of this going. And did I forget anything? We're going to put up lots of links. I'll put up, when I get on this evening, we'll compile the list. My sister's putting them up as we go. So that you guys can see them while we're doing this. But we're going to put up a list with everything in one place so that you'll be able to find things that we mentioned. So I think that's everything. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Thank you for sticking with us and for joining us. And we'll have lots of great tips for you next week. You guys have a terrific week. And we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. I'm going to go to the camera and cut it off. Here we go.